Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Distance Dilemma podcast. My name is Shaun, and I am in Dublin, Ireland. This is Imran. He is in Thun, Switzerland, and this is episode number 49 of our long distance friendship podcast. And we are starting things off like we do every single week with our out of context weekly scenarios. This is the part of the show where me and Imran have the guest parts of each other's week, where the other person gives that out of context. So, Imran, what is your out of context weekly scenario?
So, my out of context weekly scenario for this week is waking up fresh.
Okay, this happened at home, I assume.
Yeah,
Did this happen when Nicola was away?
no,
No. Um, were you sick and then like you woke up and you were fine again?
no,
Oh, did you? Is this anything got to do with like the gym?
no,
Um, new bed sheets.
no.
Bed sheets are a good show.
Yeah, bed sheets are a good show.
I love waking up from fresh sheets.
Same.
Um, waking up fresh. So it was Nicola. Also, I'm assuming this is something got to do with your bed,
No.
or like you're getting out of bed.
Um, yeah.
This and it's your bedroom that this
It's kind.
is.
It's kind. I kind of like just gave you the answer, but I'm just trying to see if you can figure out the context of why I woke up fresh.
Did you like? Is it because of like an activity that you did? Like, did you
Yes, but I wouldn't claim it as an activity.
did you do some sort of like nightly routine that made you wake up fresher the next day?
No,
Did you do something in the morning that made you wake up fresh? I don't
no,
know. Like, did you drink some fancy tea or something before you went to sleep?
no. But you're on the right premise there.
Okay, so you consumed something.
I can't give you the answer to that, but you're in the right area.
Did you apply something?
No.
Like a
Maybe.
moisturizer?
Okay, maybe I can phrase it a bit differently. Maybe I did the opposite of what you're saying.
Did you get sick?
No.
Did something come out of you?
Okay, I'll say it again, right?
Right.
I woke up fresh and I did the opposite of consuming something.
Oh, so you didn't do something. So like something you
Yes.
normally do that you didn't
Do?
do.
Yeah.
So is this something got to do with sugar?
No.
Drugs?
I would, yeah, it technically is a drug, but yeah. Basically, I'll explain, and you're in the right area, and I can see you're gonna get it, right? So he
Right.
said, I'm not gonna give you the answer. I'm gonna let you keep guessing. But I woke up fresh for not consuming something, and I might have had something on the night before, which normally in most situations I would have woke up today a bit worse for wear.
So this was this morning.
Yeah, it's just this morning.
Okay. So right, what would you do on a Sunday night? You didn't consume this isn't food or drink, is it?
Yeah,
It
it
is
is.
food or drink.
Uh-huh.
Was it like some so and you said it's something to do with sugar.
No,
Is it a takeaway?
no,
Is it food?
no.
So it's a drink. So you normally have okay, right. Were you maybe working last night? You normally have a drink after work, but you didn't, and then you went home, and then you woke up fresh because of that.
Yeah, okay, so you're right, but you're not right in the context. And the reason, like, I don't think you're going to get it because it's a bit weird, right? So we had our staff party last night, which is weird to
Okay.
have it on a Sunday. Like, it's
Yes.
very weird to have a staff party on a Sunday, especially in Switzerland because everything is closed. And like I said before, normally when I'd have a staff party and I'd wake up the next day, I'd probably be hanging because I'm staying out later than I probably should have. But last night I had a very respectful night and I left. I was on the Coke Zeros all night and I left at 11:30 and I got home for like 12:10. And then I woke up this morning at like 9 o'clock. And by 9 o'clock, I had like the whole house cleaned. I went for a run. I came back. I did the clips for the podcast. Had me breakfast there. As you saw before we were about to start the podcast, Shaun got an ASMR video of me just munching on food. And the reason I felt like you were gonna get it was when I said you were talking about the consuming thing, and I was like, oh,
Yeah.
he's gonna get it in purpose. But the only thing is like he's actually not gonna get the context because whoever has a staff party on a Sunday,
Yeah, I mean, I feel I got like 80% of the way
you
there.
got
Like
like
you were
yeah
with
yeah.
work, like you were at work in some form.
Mm, mm, mm.
Was this like part of like your ritual of like trying to cut down on drink that we were talking about previously? That's where you were.
I thought it would be like a good like test. And you know what? I actually the way the night went, a lot of people just weren't drinking. Like the staff that did go because a lot of people were doing Joy January. One of the girls is pregnant. One of the lads doesn't drink anymore. So it kind of worked out in my favor, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
Like it wasn't like an area or like a premise where like maybe in Ireland where it's like everyone there's like 40 staff members and you're in an environment, you're in a pub or something. Like we were in the pub at the end of the night, but we were just playing cards and I was like, right lads, I'm gonna go get the last bus home so I don't have to get a taxi, that kind of thing. But they ended up
yeah,
staying out, which was grand. Like, but I was happy in the long run now because of like I was doing a few bits this morning, being a bit productive, like to start my day, and I still have like after we finish the podcast, lots of stuff to do as well. So kind of worked out in my favor on the premise of what we were talking about last week. If anyone
there
didn't
you
know,
go.
we talked about alcohol. So yeah, there you go.
Just hammering home my point of last week of not waking up with a hangover and waking up
Hangover.
fresh and like
Yeah,
you got your washing. You after getting some washing done. You went for a run. You've had your brekkie and all. Like it
yeah,
sounds like a
that's
very
productive.
successful Monday morning.
That's it. That's it. Go get the day. So yourself, where are we talking?
All right. So my out of context weekly scenario is a comical drop.
A comical drop.
Yeah.
Does this have anything to do with the bathroom?
No.
Okay. Like, it's like, is he trying to add fuel to his morning poos? Comical drop. Has anything to do with comics?
No.
No. Comical drop. Did you drop something?
Kind of.
Did you drop like some bad news or like a bomb or something?
No.
No. Comical drop. Did you make like Ribena?
No. What? Where did you get Ribena from that?
Like like you drop the drops in and you mix it around like cosmic. I don't know. I don't know how anyone else is gonna get this. Comical drop.
Once you get into the region, I imagine you'll narrow it down fairly quickly.
So it has
It's
nothing
not
to
as
do
tough.
with
I
comic.
remember last week's was tough because it was so beige.
And
But
this week's is not tough.
it's not as tough as last week's. It's yeah. Like I said, once you get like the area it's in, you'll probably narrow it down quick enough. It's a very vague term, but once
Yeah,
you get onto
very
it,
vague. Okay, so it's nothing to do with. It has some sort of something to do with dropping something.
yeah,
Did
you're. I physically didn't drop something, but something dropped.
did something drop in the house?
Yes.
Did the TV drop off the wall?
No.
Do you mean comical as it was funny? It was like a funny
Yes.
something funny falling. Okay, sorry, my brain just did not go to. Okay. Um, did Xena like fall off the wall? Did Xena fall?
No.
No, I don't know why Xena would be on
Well,
the
I'm
wall.
sure she did fall at some
Yeah, yeah,
at
yeah.
some point last week. Where she wasn't roaming the walls like Spider Pig and just decided to flop.
Did your I hope your kitchen didn't fall again.
No, that didn't
No.
happen again. Unfortunately,
Okay. So something fell in the
I
house.
say
Were you
unfortunately.
and
Unfortunately, it didn't fall
yeah,
again.
so yeah. Were you and Simone both in the house when it happened?
Yes.
Yeah. So were you like cooking dinner and something fell?
No.
Were you watching TV and something fell?
Yes.
Okay, so it's in the sitting room.
Yes.
Perfect. Right. So in the sitting room and something funny fell. What's in your sitting room that fell? Did like a painting fall?
No.
Did like the LED light in your room fall?
No. You're getting colder with the types of things that you're imagining falling.
Is it an object that fell?
No.
It's not an object that fell. Did Simone fall off the
No.
chair? Did you fall off the chair?
No. But you're getting warmer.
So Xena, you and Simone didn't fall. Who else was in the house?
No.
Was there some?
So you've mentioned the person that it could have
Okay, so it's Xena,
linked to. No.
and it's not you.
No. So
I've
something.
only noticed Simone, you, and Zena, so it has to be either you or Simone.
Yeah, it's me. So something dropped on me,
Something dropped on you. Did Zena poo on
or
you or
maybe
something?
that. I think the phrasing of that is misleading.
Okay.
Something on me. So I would say something on me fell down. I think that might be a bit of a better.
Did you drop your dinner?
No,
Something on you fell down. Did you like, were you eating and like, I don't know, like a spit or something, or like a
no,
snot came down, or
no, no.
I don't know.
I think
Uh,
even if that did happen, I wouldn't share it on the podcast.
yeah, yeah. Sorry for our listeners. Um, okay, so are you eating? Is that anything to do with eating? No.
No,
Mm, what's on the ceiling above you that could fall? Did like bit of paint fall on you?
no. You're getting colder. So
Yeah.
something on me fell down.
Were you wearing something and it fell?
Yes.
Were you wearing your like glasses and it fell on you and it was funny?
No.
Were you wearing a hat? But you don't wear hats, so it'd be
No.
very weird for you to wear a hat. What do you wear? You don't wear jewelry. You don't wear
What's the
hats.
most obvious thing you could think
Your
of me wearing?
AirPods. Your
No.
AirPods. Your Ray-Bans, the POV glasses.
No. What's something that is like synonymous with me wearing daily?
I'm try
What's something that I think you've only ever seen me not wear maybe two or three times in the 10 years I've known you?
tracksuit bottoms. You
Th-
don't
That
wear tracksuit bottoms. Oh, jeans. So how
yes.
did jeans fall on you if you're wearing the jeans?
No, no, no. Rephrase that. Think of how else.
Shorts. Shorts.
No, you're on the right. No, you're on the right path with jeans. What could happen to jeans that would be very funny happening to you in the middle of a room?
Your fly was open?
No.
I have no idea. What the
Okay,
hell?
I'm gonna have to call
No.
you here. This is this.
What? The jeans fall. You were what? The jeans fall down because you weren't wearing a belt.
Yes,
That's what happened.
that's exactly it. Yeah.
Okay, okay, okay,
But
okay,
the wider context. So that's what it was. You've gotten it there. The
okay,
wider
okay.
context to that was I had come from downstairs and I hadn't got a belt on, and
Right.
as I've flandered on the podcast over the last kind of few months, I've been losing weight and stuff, and these are now the second pair of jeans that I've bought because my old ones were getting too big for me. I'm kind of at the point now where I've spent too much money on buying new jeans, and they keep not fitting me after a few weeks because I keep going down in size. So I've kind of just said, "Fuck this! No, I'm not buying any more jeans because I haven't got the spare money to be buying like a new couple of set, like a new whole set of like 5, 6 pairs of jeans every few months." I said
Yeah.
I'm sticking out with the ones that I have until like at least summertime. So I was coming from downstairs. Sorry, I was coming from upstairs, and I was just carrying down like washing and like mugs and stuff that we had upstairs that needed to come down, and I hadn't got a
Yeah.
belt on. And I walked into the sitting room like just with my hands full, like they weren't like packed, but I walked into the sitting room, and then something on the telly was said something about like it was like some sort of like innuendo about like a funny finger of some sort, and then I walk into the room, and then Simone goes to me, "Have you got a funny finger?" and like wiggles her finger at me, and at that exact moment my jeans just dropped, and like I was just in my jocks in the sitting room. Like she literally pointed the timing could not have been anywhere. She just points at me, wiggles her finger, and my jeans just dropped, and I'm now in my boxers just in the sitting room.
Maybe it's a Simone's Matilda.
Yeah, there you go.
I say you both wet yourself.
Yeah, oh, it was very funny. Yeah,
Yeah.
and the worst part was my hands were full, so I had to walk to the kitchen like with my jeans around my ankles.
No, that's funny. That's funny. I
Yeah.
don't know why I couldn't get that. I was trying to think like
Man,
because
the
you kept saying you're wearing
Ribena was
on
a
you.
fucking mad L shout on that one. I'm not gonna
No,
lie
because
to you.
when do you know what it was? I thought because you were saying comical. I didn't mean you meant like comical in the terms of like funny. I just my brain just didn't go down that route. I was thinking like cosmics. Like, is he talking like some kind of chemical imbalance where like you mix something like Ribena and water? I just went way off to where you actually were.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Anyway,
just like Simone has been saying to me the last few weeks. You two just think very differently, but
yeah,
also the
yeah.
same. Like there's times where like me and you go down the exact same route, and then there's times where like we couldn't be further apart on how we
You're
like
you're
process things.
you're very black and white the way you think, and
Yeah,
I'm very more like just mad.
even though, like
Yeah.
because she was saying like I think I was saying it to Nicola as well when I seen her that like it's very like I'll like start off and be like work home like relationships people like I'll like try and like narrow it down to like that and then like you'll just like say something like Ribena
Hey,
and just
that
like shoot
that
like such a mad like I almost like guess who it down with like are they have they got dark hair have they got glasses blah blah like I whittle it down like that and you just like go for a shot in the dark like is it Eamon?
you know what? I feel like we would actually be a really good detectives because like you'd be like very focused and I'd be like there with the out of context, decisions about the case and you'd be like, "Oh, yeah." And then you could be like, "Oh, no."
It's like,
Yeah. That's how it kind of adds to the dilemma of the podcast, I suppose.
anyway, yes, guys, that's out of context weekly scenarios for the week, and now we are moving on to the topic for the week, and we're gonna let Imran introduce the topic for this week because it is his week to pick the topic.
Yeah, so this week I was kind of talking with people in work about Switzerland kind of had some like weird laws in place. So I thought we could talk about the premise of weird constitutional rules. Me kind of talking about my experience from living in Switzerland, some things I've noticed and read up about. And then Shaun can talk about things that maybe in Ireland that he's kind of researched and kind of noticed over the past couple of years. So I guess I'll go first because it is my topic, I suppose. And we'll probably talk about each kind of section that we picked up. So one here, which I think is a bit mad, considering not everyone works 9 to 5 jobs, is it's illegal to shower after 10 p.m. here.
Really?
Yeah, so you cannot. I have it written down here, like specifically what it says. It says, you are prohibited to shower between the times of 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. due to loud noise congestion within apartment blocks and estates. So.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and now I might get in trouble for this, but I don't work a 9 to 5 job, and so a lot of the time my shifts I don't finish till half 11 and 12. And I'm not gonna lie, I work in a greasy kitchen, so a lot of the time I'm coming home stinking, and I'm not gonna get into my fresh sheets into my bed. So I do shower after 10 p.m. Now, luckily, I have never had any issues with this. But I have spoken to people in work that do live in apartment blocks, and they have situations where neighbours have knocked on the door and said they will report you if you do not shower after 10 p.m. So,
That's
yeah.
fucking wild.
Yeah, but
How
I
loud
think
are the showers in Switzerland?
that's what I mean. Like, it
How
must
loud
be
are the
something.
showers? Like, I get there's a motor in most showers, like, but like, how
Well, you showered. You showered in my apartment. Like, it's not
yeah,
that
like, it's
loud.
not
It's not
loud,
that.
like,
Like, yeah. Yes, I don't know. I think that one is not very accommodating to people that work, in the evening times, like
yeah,
restaurants and
absolutely.
that kind of sense. So I did think that was a bit mad. And then there's a couple of more on the list here that's on the premise of that kind of like timing issues. So I'll talk about that a bit later. But what do you think about that? I thought when I read that the first time and I kind of like someone was telling me about it, I was like, that's a bit mad. It's not really accommodating of many people.
That's like I think that's so mad because it's like it's in the privacy of your own home as well. Like it's not
Yeah.
like I would say if it was like a communal thing, I'd be like right fair enough. Like if you had like a communal like shower in a public space of some sorts, I would get it a little bit more because like you've got a staff that you got to have people clean that. Like I get it, but the fact it's like a thing for private homes
Mm.
and stuff like is like you said like for like I'm thinking of people who like maybe like to just get up early and like there was points when I used to work from 6 a.m. to 3 and I
Mm.
would get up at half 4 and have a shower you
Yeah,
know
yeah, yeah.
like and that would be illegal like that's like I think especially like 6 o'clock like a lot of people leave for work at 6 o'clock and if
That's the thing,
like if you're me I'm a morning shower person like I have to have a shower in the morning
Same.
so yeah that kind of I think that would just drive me up the wall like if someone was especially if someone was going mad at me it's like man I'm just trying to clean myself
Yeah,
whatever
yeah.
and
I
like
think I think the premise of it as well, like I don't think it's like to the case where like you'd go to prison over it, but I think it could be a situation where you definitely would have to pay some sort of fine, if you're showering regularly after 10 p.m.
yeah like for a noise complaint like sort of
Yeah,
level
but like say you worked in like a mines, or if you worked somewhere in a situation like where you get, like a butcher's, for example, where you're working with a lot of blood and things like that,
mm,
and you need to wash yourself just for pure health reasons and for everyone
mm.
else in your household. And say like you're doing the night shift and you get home at 2 a.m. Like if you need to shower, you got to shower. Like what are you gonna do? Power hose yourself outside in the lake? You know what I mean?
I mean, also, like, how are they going to prove that you had a shower? You know,
That
because let me just, because like, you could well be like, excuse me, I was washing something. I have some delicate whites that could not go into my washing machine, so I was in the bathtub with my shower, washing them and scrubbing them. What constitutes a shower? What constitutes a shower? Let me know. Let me know in the comments.
I won't talk about that because that again is kind of on the premise of what I have down here. So I'll
Okay.
let
Oh God.
you. Yeah,
Right.
yeah, 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 yeah. So I'll let
There's
you.
going to be laws around fucking
Yeah,
wiping
yeah,
shirt
yeah,
stains off your jocks now in a few minutes.
yeah. Poor Nicola. I'll let you go. I'll let you go and give me an Irish one, and then we'll come back.
Yeah. I don't. So look, I think we're not going to find this super weird, but I think people who are not natively from Ireland, or people who like aren't who have never been to Ireland, are going to find it like really really weird. Now, I don't find this weird, and I think this should be a law. I wouldn't be in favor of scrapping this, but anyway, beating around the bush here. The official first language of Ireland is Irish, even though the majority of the country cannot and do not use Irish.
Yeah.
I have a thing here. Less than 2% of the population speak Irish daily,
Well,
which
that's
is
actually lower
really
than I
sad.
thought it was going to be.
Yeah, I was really surprised it was that low. No, I didn't think it was going to be like more than 10, but I thought it would be like at least 5 or 6%. Like especially when you have like, you think of like the Gaeltacht regions out in like Kerry and Galway and stuff. I thought there would be like a healthy chunk, and like I would also class like the kids in school using Irish as daily use as well. Like because
The Gael
obviously you've got
talks.
the teachers.
Or the Gael schools, should I say?
Yeah, yeah. And even like I'd say primarily this lands on the Gael schools, but obviously like we done Irish and stuff in school as well. It's taught in every school in Ireland. So yeah, I was really surprised that it was like only 2%. Now I'm not sure how accurate and how up to date that is. I know it says 2025 here, but again, that could be wrong. But give or take. Well, I'd say give maybe 1 or 2%. Like if it isn't accurate, it's probably below 5%, which was a
Yeah.
shock to me.
I was thinking maybe lower in like just below like 10%. I was probably thinking like around 7%. When I initially thought I heard you saying that.
Yeah,
And one thing I'd say I've noticed, and I don't know if this is just for me moving away the past 2 years now, but I don't see there's much vocalization or like awareness of the Irish language than it used to be. Like I don't know if you remember, like a lot of people, a lot of the Gael schools or in the Gael talks were making like music videos to like popular English songs and like making them into Irish music videos. Like I don't know if that still happens or if it's just I haven't seen any really on my for you page or anything to do with Ireland. I don't know if that's like been reduced over time, or I don't see a lot of like Irish merch anymore, or I don't see much like folklore plays or anything like this. I don't know if you have noticed, because maybe maybe you could talk a bit more about it because you're back at home and you said like you'd love to learn Irish over the next couple of years. So like, what's kind of like you and that kind of about the Irish premise of language around everything you've seen?
yeah. I mean, like it's really been stagnated for the last while. I do think they're still doing what you said. Like I think the Gaeltacht
Yeah,
and the Gael schools, they still do that sort of thing, but it's just like I
yeah,
think when they started doing it, it went fairly viral. I
viral.
remember
Yeah,
they done it to Avicii and they done it to a couple of other like pop songs, and like sometimes they're
yeah,
really good. Like,
yeah.
um, but it just none of them have gone viral again recently. I think the effect has kind of been watered down. And what I have noticed, and which like I'm a huge advocate for this now. I actually love them to double down this. There's more ads on the telly that are bilingual. In there's so like say you're watching, let's say, the chase, right? So there's 4 ad breaks during the chase, and during those 4 ad breaks, 2 of them, like let's say I think Board Gosh do it right. There's two. There'll be 4 Board Gosh ads on during that, and 2 of them will be in English and 2 of them will be in Irish.
Yeah.
And like as I said, like a week or two in the podcast, I'm a really big believer in we should use the Irish language, and something I really want to get better at myself. I want to learn it. I want to get like fluent in it again before 30. Before I'm the age of 30, but that is. And I think like I think a lot of people want to speak the language, but they just it's finding the time to do it. Like I'm not saying people are like too lazy to, but life is really busy, and like trying to do something like that doesn't really have a lot of real world
Standing.
benefits. You know, because like
Yeah.
you think if like you go and learn Spanish, like Spanish is the most spoken language in the world. You know, it gives you so many opportunities when it comes to your career, and it's the same with like French and German, like these languages that are spoken all
In many
across
other different
Europe and
countries. Yeah.
continents. And you know, Irish only applies to Ireland, and I'm sure it does absolutely open up a lot of career avenues for you in Ireland. Like you know, but
Hmm.
you know, there's not as much of a onus on people to learn it. But
Yeah.
I really do think like the best way to like start introducing that is like, you know, I would really like them to put all ads on telly in Irish. Like I think they
Yeah.
should just do it across the board, and then I think also like I think like, they should come up with like you know I'm gonna sound like Stalin here, but a 5 year plan, right? We need a 5 year plan where like they slowly start to just like introduce Irish a little bit more aggressively into people's lives day to day, because like with you know this law here that I've said, like the Ireland Irish is the official first language of the country, and when you walk down any street in Ireland, you've got the English road sign and you've got the Irish as well. And
Irish road sign.
you look at the buses, like a bus just drove by me there as we were recording, and it comes up in English and it comes up in Irish. And when they
Yeah.
announce it on the bus, like what stop it is and stuff, like it does it in English and it does it in Irish. Like you know, I think like it's been like that for 30 odd years. Like you know, they need to start rambling. But I understand that like there's a lot bigger issues in the world right
Issues.
now.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it's something I feel really passionately about. I would like to see that up, and then like I think then maybe start to do the same thing with the news. Like you know, start more and more having the news just be Oswelga. Like you know, like obviously you can't just flip it overnight. It has to be a thing where they just start to introduce a couple of phrases
Introduce
here and
it.
there,
Yeah.
and like do it on a kind of trajectory, because you can't obviously just like switch the language up and people not understand. Like you know, but I would like to see something like that happen.
Yeah, I mean, like you know, you do have people that kind of like Brezzy and Hector that have kind of been pushing it a bit more in like the music industry and the radio industry in Ireland. But you know, I mean, I think I agree with you in the sense of that advertisement would be a major part in terms of like the younger generation being more involved. And you know, like a lot of people like try to attach identity with the language as well. Like when we've seen it a lot on TikTok and YouTube over the recent years of people like expressing their love for being Irish, or maybe they're not necessarily their family is from here and then they identify as Irish. So I feel like a big push in that sense would be a great help in the long run, like you were saying there, within the next 5 years. I'll move on to my next one here because I've got a couple. So yeah, what you were saying there recently about the washing your laundry and stuff. So on Sundays, this I don't know if this is to do with a religious sense. I was trying to find out a bit more about it, but there is no laundry or recycling on Sundays in Switzerland.
So you say no
So
laundry or recycling.
no laundry and no recycling is allowed, due to again the loud premise that can come around that. You know, if you're recycling glass bottles, if you're recycling, if you're using the washing machine. It's like, for example, like in my apartment, we have one washing machine and one dryer downstairs. We have a calendar, and when you want to use it, you just put the times in under your name. And now we're in a lucky situation where not many people use the washing machine a lot, so we can use it from Monday to Saturday very much. But the premise of it is you're not allowed to use the washing machine on Sundays. That's kind of like a restricted time. You're not once allowed to use it. And like obviously we respect it because we're trying to adapt to the culture here. But I do think my personal thing is like Sundays in Ireland are a bit different, because for me Sunday is like a reset day. Is where it would be the day that you would do the laundry, that you'd be in the house, you'd be watching movies, watching TV, you have time to do these things. But here it's not on the premise of that. And I'll tell you, sorry, the first time I moved to Switzerland and I got a job in the pub, we do like in the morning shift, you've got to go recycle all the bottles from the bar staff. Obviously, all the Coronas and the Heineken bottles or whatever. So on one of the Sundays mornings, I went to the bottle bank, which is only like literally like a minute, 2 minute walk across from the pub. So it was a grand, not that far of a walk for me. So anyway, went down to the bottle bank, started doing the bottles. There was no one really around. It was Sunday morning, so probably would have been around 10:30, 11. Still fairly quiet around the town. Just be quiet in Switzerland on Sundays anyway. No one does really be around. And I was putting bottles in the bank, and there was a woman driving a car like on the main road. There's not many cars on the road as well, and I could see her indicating to pull into like a car, like a parking spot. So I thought it was a parking spot. So she like pulled in and she like pulled her window down, and I wasn't looking at her. Like I was just popping the bottles in, recycling, the green, the white, the brown, and then she like started screaming like full volume in German at me, and I was like, I'm sorry, I just moved here. I don't understand the language. I was like, do you speak English? And she was like, yeah, I speak a little bit of English. She's like, what you're doing is illegal. You're not allowed to recycle on Sundays. And I was like, oh, sorry, I just moved here. I don't know. She was like, you're creating so much loud noise for everyone in the city. And I looked around and I was like, there's no one in the city. You know what I mean? Like, I looked around, there's like not, like, there wasn't even 10 people I could see within, 100 meters of me. There was no one
I'm
around.
not gonna lie, Switzerland is starting to sound more and more like a sketch comedy show.
Yeah, yeah. Honestly, honestly, I could talk for days about the weird laws that go on here. Anyway, so she went on the road. She went off, but like I'm not gonna lie, that there's been like 5 or 6 times where like I've had situations where like people have given out to me for like recycling glass bottles. And especially we had like I'll tell you another story. We do like a festival in Tune called Tune Fest. It happens every year. And obviously just like huge amounts of bottles that I have to recycle during the process of it. Because like there's over like 1,000 people that come and pass throughout the day, even more I think. So I was doing it on the Saturday. This wasn't even on Sunday, so you're allowed to recycle. And she was saying that this woman was saying I was recycling too much glass, making too much loud noise in the city. Which made zero sense because the whole city was having a music festival. Like there was a music festival on in each different part of the city, and they're like getting ready to set up music. Like they're setting up stages. Like yourself, you work in the music industry. Like it's loud when you're setting up, all the music equipment, the stages. Setting up all the drink equipment, setting up your speakers, like everything is loud because you've got to do tests on the microphone, everything. And she was like giving out to me with her husband for like recycling like 4 boxes of glass which were actually not within the city premises. Like the bottle bank is like pretty much like at the outskirts of the city. And I was like, what the hell is going on? Do you know what I mean? I was just thinking like there's people out there that are like murdering people on a daily basis, and I'm getting given out to for like putting glasses into a bottle bank. You know what I mean?
I think
Yeah,
we had discussed before about like how low the crime rate is in Switzerland,
yeah.
and I honestly think they're starting to just make shit up just to give the police something to do. Honestly, what the fuck, like.
I told you this before. One of the main headline stories was that a woman had fell down the stairs, and an old woman fell down the stairs and she broke her leg, and she was okay. And that was like the main headline in Switzerland that time. It's like, I mean, maybe that's a good thing. Maybe from other sides, like it's not the same to 5 people burnt out cars down in Drumcondra. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's that thing of
So
no news is good news.
yeah, no news is good news. Okay, I'll let you move on because I know we're cautious of time here.
Yeah. So I don't have a specific one for this, but there's so many laws in Ireland that have been dictated or like put in place that haven't been taken out because
Okay.
of the period that the Catholic Church used to rule in Ireland. So, for
Hmm.
anybody that doesn't know, the Catholic Church had a massive, massive impact on how Irish law was run up until the 90s, really. And it's stuff like, contraception, like condoms were illegal in Ireland until 1996.
Yeah.
And I've had people tell me stories that, people used to drive to the north of Ireland, which is run by the UK, buy boxes of Johnnies, bring them back down south, and then they would be selling them or giving them to their mates.
Yeah.
There's lots of, so many stupid and silly rules that are actually technically in the Irish Constitution
This.
because the Catholic Church, like, literally, it was, I don't know if it was basically the equivalent of what Trump has on America. The Catholic Church had that in Ireland up until the mid 90s, up until like the Good Friday Agreement, when the Irish government sorted shit out, and finally got their shit together after the troubles, but like there's so many little instances of that across the lot, and like Sundays are a great example. Like there's loads of businesses that don't open on Sundays now. This is something that's changed over the years because on Sunday is seen as a day of rest here, as you mentioned.
Yeah.
Now in the modern world of capitalism, places, there's not an awful lot of like big chains. Like you're not going to get a Mackey's closing down on a Sunday, but
No.
it's a big thing outside of Dublin that shops are closed on Sundays, or it's almost treated like a bank holiday, or because bank holidays are basically an extra Sunday, pretty much, whenever they do come around here.
Yeah.
So they get Sundays are almost treated like that, where if you do work Sunday, you, like the Irish law, you're supposed to get a premium for Sunday pay. Like, now this can range from, like, I think there's a big misconception that you're supposed to get double pay on Sunday. Like you're supposed to get paid twice your hourly rate. It's
Like time and a
really,
half.
yeah, that's totally up to your employer. They can pay you an extra
Yeah.
1 cent, but you do have to get like a premium for working on
Premium.
Sunday because it's seen as a day of rest. And like across the country, outside of the major cities, like most shops are going to be closed, like on a
It,
Sunday.
it's the same here. It's like everything is closed on Sundays. But I actually didn't really notice this. A lot of this is to do with the Catholic Church as well. Funny enough that Shaun was saying it is a lot of the time it happens across Italy, some places in Germany, Switzerland primarily as well. Everything is closed. There's no shopping allowed to be done on Sundays. Again, kind of like on that way of like a rest day. And it's funny because you said McDonald's was open. It's like McDonald's is like one of the only places that is open as well in in Switzerland, and in my local area anyway. That's open. And then the restaurants are allowed open, but they're only that they have to close at 6. But like at home, like the shopping centers are open still till I think it's like 8 to 10, between 8 and 10 o'clock.
Yeah, it kind of depends on what time of year. I think like this time of year they go back to closing at 6, but then like once you get kind of
Yeah,
like back to like peak summer, it'll get pushed, and then Christmas, like some of them are open until midnight around Christmas time, Um, so I mean, and there's another one that like pops up here. I don't know like the full context behind it, but this is just on the same basis, and we can move on. But the Irish Constitution claims authority from God, not from like the leaders of any one party, but yeah, just from what I can see here, I'm not really fully sure why this is in place. But
can
the
you
pre
look? Can you look that up and give me a definition of what that means? I don't know what that.
it basically invokes that the most holy Trinity and states all authority must come from God, pretty much. What I
Okay,
would imagine this
so
is
we're
one of
being
those
run
things
by
that the
God.
Catholic Church put in and it just hasn't been taken out.
Yeah,
It's like I feel like Ireland operates on that type of basis of like if it's not broke, don't fix it, and nobody has like come for certain laws. Yeah, so they've just not taken them out of the constitution because obviously if you take something out, you have to do a referendum on them and stuff
yeah,
as
yeah.
well.
Of
Like
course.
so it's just one of those things that hasn't been taken out. There's lots. That's why like I didn't like list loads of laws got to do with like Catholicism in Ireland because honestly like we actually haven't got enough time to go through them all. Like we could be here
Yeah,
for
yeah,
hours.
yeah. Do you know what? I don't know why when you said all that to me, like my brain just had a vision of like my auntie's house down the country that has like 5 pictures of the baby Jesus and like crosses all over the rooms. Do you ever? I don't know if if you have any family that's down the country, but like this is kind of premise and like old Irish grannies living down the country, and they're all each room has to have a cross in the corner, Saint Bridget's cross, like all these kind of things around the household.
Yeah, I think that's just a thing of like that's the era they were raised in.
That
It's not.
yeah, it was the 60s in Ireland. It was a different time altogether,
Yeah,
60s to 80s.
like I said, the Catholic Church literally ran Ireland up until
Yeah.
the mid 90s.
For me, the Johnny's thing is just unbelievable. And I think Dairy Girls do an episode on that where they try to smuggle Johnny's underneath the car bonnet. It's hilarious. Yeah, I'll move on. So I have 3 more, and I'll kind of break them down quickly enough. You're not allowed to flush the toilet after 10 p.m.
What the
here.
fuck is going on in
Yeah, I
Switzerland before
know.
10? Like I
I don't know
swear.
what's happening. People must be taking the loudest shits in their life before they're flushing the toilet. Now, I'm sorry to say, lads, if I need to do a shit at 11 o'clock, I'm flushing the toilet. You can arrest me.
But
You know what I mean?
did you say that you cannot flush the toilet, or is it specifically got to do with poop?
No, no, no. It says like you are not. I'll read it up here. It says you're not allowed to flush the toilet loudly. Now, I'm presuming with most toilets, there's a small flush and a large flush. You use a small flush for the piss to save some money, or sorry, save electricity costs, and then the big one is you use for doing the number two. Yeah, am I correct?
See, yeah,
Most people houses,
I would
right?
agree with that
I would
statement.
agree with
Yes.
that. Yeah, yeah. And for whatever reason here, it's claiming that if you're not allowed to flush loudly. So I'm thinking like if you need to do a poo, they're saying not to flush the toilet. And I remember actually when you came, you asked me. I don't know if it was you or Jack and Laura when we came. They asked me like what the story was with flushing the toilet after like 11 p.m. Because some households it was like you know, if you need to go for a piss at 12 a.m., like don't flush the toilet. Like, I don't know if that was in some people's houses. Some people's houses are different. Like, now, if it
Yeah,
was number two, like, you're flushing the toilet. Like, no matter what you're doing, you're flushing the
just
toilet.
leaving a
But
floater there for your like mate's mat to see in the next morning. Like what the fuck?
poor Eileen walking in with a big dirty shite in the toilet. Yeah. I have two more. This one I think is it was. I was trying to. I only found this out this morning. And I was like, this is mental. So there's a thing in Switzerland that you're not allowed to car idle, which I actually didn't understand what I actually meant by that. But car idling is when like if I drop you off to the shop, say you've got to go into the post office, and I don't like turn off my car. Like if I sit there, keep the engine on, and I'm just waiting for you to come back from the post office, like that's illegal because you're
Polluting.
basically first polluting, and the second thing is you're making a loud noise. But like say you're going to the shop for like 2 minutes, or say you need to go hand in, like I can imagine some L1 just screaming at you because you're keeping your car on.
Well, like, right, you know what? That's the most reasonable one I've heard so far from you.
I
Like
don't know, like
no, I don't.
if you're
I
waiting
don't,
10 minutes, maybe,
I
but
don't,
like
yeah, look, I don't, like, I don't particularly agree with it. Like, I get it. Like, if you're like someone's only running to the post office to post a letter or do something real quick, I get it. I don't, and like, I don't fully agree with that being illegal. But you know, I get it. You know, I get the perspective on it. You know, a
yeah,
bit
that one
more.
probably is like the only one out of the list that kind of makes a little bit of sense. But still, to me, it's a bit weird. But anyway,
Yeah, it's still a bit like what's wrong with people's ears in Switzerland? Like, have they got like some heightened fucking sensitivity like in their ears? Like, what's the story of not being able to flush the toilet after 10 o'clock? Like,
I'm
what if
not.
you got
What
shit?
this?
Like, what if you get food poisoning and like you need to like you need to vomit or you need to use the toilet, like, and they're just going to be like, sorry, no, you're going to have to wait until 6 a.m. until you can curl yourself up so you can clean up. It's like, no, so you're going to have to go in the toilet and then
There's some
you can't,
L1 with a timer.
yeah, but like, it's like, oh yeah, sorry, get sick in the bath instead. You can't even clean the bath because you can't fucking run the shower either to clean the bath until 6 a.m. as well. Like, like, there must be some, like, I get it's a thing of like it's like they want to be respectful, but like I think what goes on in your own home is nobody else's
Is your own
business,
business, yeah, yeah.
and
I
like,
feel like Switzerland does fall into that bracket though, because like you've been in tune, you've seen it on the bus. Like my area, primarily where I live, is like it's kind of like an elderly home. Like you cannot. Sometimes the bus is so full that you actually can't sit down. That you have to like leave your seat open for like an elder person that might come and need to sit down on the bus. Which, understandably, like I get it, 100%. I'd always think about someone else's granny that needs to sit down in them situations. You don't want to be standing for half an hour or whatever. But what I'm just thinking of the premise is like I'm thinking they made these laws surrounding on purely on the elderly here, and as everything, as you get older, everything gets a bit louder, and your ear care and everything like that. But for me, it's a bit much sometimes. Like if I need to take a shit, I'm flushing. You know what I mean?
you need to get them some noise cancelling headphones.
I swear, man. Right, I've one more, and we'll finish off anyway for the topic. You're not allowed to wash your car near drain pipes. So the reason for I'm just saying.
What
I wish
the
you could.
fuck is wrong with these folks?
I wish you could see Sean's
What
face
the
when I said
fuck,
that.
lads?
So the reason is here before is they're saying that the chemicals can get involved. It can leak into the drains, creating chemical imbalance in the water. But the only thing that doesn't make sense to me here is all the water that goes through a system and is filtered before it's given out to the public. Like every country, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Every water is filtered before, because you can't be, they recommend you not to drink tap water anyway unless you've got like a filtered tap. But I'm trying to say is like most of the water that's being given out to everyone that's showering, drinking the water from the tap is mainly filtered. So what is the difference of me washing my car near a drain pipe? Like where else is it meant to go? Do you know what I mean? It's gonna walk down and it's gonna leak out into the water. Like that one to me.
Just throw it in the bath and do it with your shower, just as long as you do it before 10 o'clock.
At this point now, it's like you get the timer out and
just
be like,
reversing the car into the bath. Just like popping your, like, I'm just imagining like you're like got your hand over the fucking passenger seat and you're just bringing it into the bathroom. Like, yep, just back it up there, just back it up. Yep, grand. You're just taking the sink off. Yep, cheers, sound.
We're gonna need a bigger lift.
Oh, fucking hell.
Jesus, yeah, I know. Sometimes in different, and like this is just Switzerland, for example. I was reading before that there's a lot of different countries that have like very, very weird law regulations and rules that have been put in place in the constitution. Now, maybe we could go back to this now in another 20 episodes or whatever. Maybe look at other countries, but for
Do
me
you know,
now, I was like, it's a bit mad.
my reaction to those laws is, that photo of Sean Dyche against the wall with his arm folded and he goes, woke nonsense.
Yeah, 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 yeah,
That's
yeah.
I'm very. It's very rare that I would be like, oh, that's a bit too woke, but that's a bit too woke for my. Like, I'm not gonna lie, like lads, what the
I don't
fuck?
know. I just keep imagining you trying to reverse the car and trying to wash it in your bath for some reason.
Because I
Anyway,
can't use the drains. I can't use the
yeah.
fucking drains, man.
Have to get Linda out on her noise cancellation headphones.
Yeah, just to add like another Irish one to the list.
Yeah,
Is like people may know this from previous podcasts that we done, so I won't dwell on it too much. But the president in Ireland pretty much has no power over how
yeah,
day to day life in Ireland is run. The only thing the
hmm,
president actually does is kind of represent us at meetings globally, and they
hmm,
can stop laws from being put into place, so the president here signs laws into place. So, but like that, for that to pass, there has to be a referendum.
yeah,
So when the public votes for it, votes on it, but the president is ultimately the person who signs it in, and they can deny a bill from going to basically our version of the Supreme Court, which I think is the Shannon.
yeah.
Because there's the Shannons and there's Leinster House. I'm pretty sure it's the Shannons, but they can't block it from getting to that point. But that's like the only real thing that affects like day to day life. But even at that, like if a referendum comes, like they have to put the law into place, But just thought that might be interesting because you look at like the Prime Minister in the UK and obviously Trump across the road and the likes of like fucking Zelensky in Ukraine and Putin, like they've got such massive like amounts of power in their countries, and like Ireland it's like the total opposite. Like in Ireland, like
Yeah. It's a lot
there's
of
no
steps before it even crosses the line.
yeah, in Ireland there's like not one person, which I think is a really good thing. Like there's not one person that rules overall. Like we have our version of what would be the equivalent of a prime minister called Taoiseach, who is
Hmm.
the head of government, but even like he as an individual cannot change the laws or enact certain things. Like most of it has to be done by vote in the Dáil or by referendum, or there's a lot of steps to it. Like you can't just like do what Trump does and just like make a decision and like that happens. And I know it doesn't happen as easy as that in the US. It's only because of how he's got the Republican set up over there in their government system at the moment. So yeah, it's just I just thought it'd be interesting. Maybe people didn't know how kind of I don't want to say insignificant the role is. It's obviously an honor and you have to do a
Mm.
lot of work to get there. But there's just like not an awful lot of actual power involved in the presidency role in Ireland.
I know as well. I think a lot of the premises of Ireland is we're such a small island as well in the world, so it can be kind of a lot of people kind of maybe look over our kind of our power we have in the world. But we have a lot of friends in a lot many places, so that kind of adds to the surplus of how the country is run and how the world works. But we'll
Mm.
move on. We'll move on. So the pop culture slash current affairs. Sean has some ideas for us this week, so I'll let him bring in a lot of this. Actually, before he sent in, I actually didn't know about, so I'd like to hear a bit more information on it.
Yeah. So first and foremost, that fucker is back at it again. No, not Trump. Enoch Burke is back at. He's at it again, folks. He's back at it again. Yeah, he got released from prison. If I recall correctly, he was being held in Mountjoy.
Hmm.
But for anybody who doesn't know who Enoch Burke is, he's a teacher in I think it was a primary school, and he basically was relieved of his duties, but he kept showing up to work. And a lot of right wing people will tell you the reason he was put into prison was because he refused to acknowledge a kid's identity as somebody who identifies as they them and
They
non-binary
damn.
and stuff. So that is the reason he was let go from his job, because he basically kept fighting it, and it wasn't as black and white as he refused to acknowledge it and he was sacked for that. It was not as black and white as that. There was a long kind of disciplinary process. He basically bullied the child for like a couple of months, and he lost his job because of that. But
Mm.
people have misinterpreted that as he got fired for
One comment.
for one comment for refusing to acknowledge the child as non-binary or whatever. And then that's not why he was put into prison, though. The reason he was put into prison is because he was put through a disciplinary procedure in his job. He was sacked from his job because of his behavior, and he has every single day he has been sacked. On a working
He's
day,
gone
he has
back to the
kept
same
turning
school.
up to the school, and he keeps trying to enter the school, even though he's been told he is not. He's not allowed onto the premises. Like, the security guard. The school have employed a security guard just to keep him off the premises of the school because he keeps attempting to enter. And obviously, after what happens, they feel he is a danger and a harm to the students and the kids that are there. And that's why he was put into prison, because he kept constantly. Because I think then eventually they put in some sort of like restraining order where he wasn't allowed to be in within a few feet of school, and he kept breaking this every single day, and that's why he was put into prison. But like I think he's been locked up like twice now.
Yeah, it's his
Like
second.
this is
This is
going
his
on for
second term.
years. Like,
And also, I don't know if you've ever seen the POV harassment videos that he does against the security guards. I've seen one where he like purposely tries to stand in front of the security guard and walk slowly in front of him. And obviously, the security guard's just trying to do his job. Like, I keep stating to him, "I don't want to touch you. You're just not allowed entry in." And he's just being super awkward and trying to like walk past him, like the security guard's not even there. And like you said there, the reason he was sacked was even when he was on his disciplinary rules, he was breaking them by still attending the school. That's why they had to eventually bring it to a situation where they had to let him go from the school. Like, if he would have just apologized, or, he wouldn't even, I don't even think if they would even have made him apologize. I think if he would have just did the process of his leave from the school and maybe went back and had a meeting, this whole situation wouldn't have became as big of an event in Ireland that has been over the past while. But yeah, I agree with you in a sense. He is a bit of a twat, if you're asking
yeah,
me.
we do have to be really careful with how we phrase this as well. But like, there's a lot of like right wing idiots that are like, oh, it's a woke thing,
Backing
and
him.
he's being, he was a he they're trying to say he was arrested for refusing to acknowledge the child as non-binary or use their pronouns or whatever like that. That's not the reason that he was put away. The
No.
reason he was put away was because he kept entering a premises where he was told specifically he was trespassing. The reason, yeah, that's he was trespassing on the premises that he wasn't allowed on, and that's why he was arrested. But you'll have some people that are they're jumbling that story around the wrong way. So yeah, he's back at it again. Yeah, he's just gonna end up getting himself locked up again. Like, he said, like, there's so many videos, like, he's making his own videos being like, and the mad thing is, like, he turns up to the school every day. He's like, I'm coming to work, I'm coming to my place of work, I work here, I'm here to perform, I'm here to do this, I'm here to do that. It's like that's like me getting like this. I've never worked in Duns, right? But that's like me going to Duns, getting a job, getting sacked from it because I fucking bullied somebody in work, turning up being like, I'm here to stack the shelves, I am here to fulfill my duties, I am here, blah, blah, blah. It's like, brother, you've been sacked, fuck off. And it's like he's only ruined his own reputation because he's never going to be able to teach again.
No.
I don't know if if he had his license revoked or whatever like that, but like, he's never he's probably, I don't know if he could ever get a job again because his name is synonymous, like, it's all over the country.
Yeah, for me now, it's like, what's the end goal for him in this situation? Like, he wants it to be revoked, that the school to come out and say that they were wrongdoing for what had happened. But like, does he not realize that the case will never go as far?
The school have to put the children's welfare first. Like, regardless of what you think about, like, not like people
Your
identifying as
own
non-binary and stuff, like,
laws, yeah.
whatever about that sort of thing. It's like, you have to protect the children first and foremost. The fella was bullying the fucking kid, so he got he got sacked, like, as a teacher,
As he should have.
as he should have. Doesn't matter if it's over a fucking gender issue or if it's a weight thing or if he's fucking picking out somebody because he thinks they're thick or whatever. Like, like, he can't do that. Like, no matter the circumstances, it's nothing to do with the whole, with the issues, like, surrounding, like, whether he believes in the child identifying that way or not. Like, it's nothing to do with that. It's the fact that he's bullying them for it. Like, you can't bully the child. Like, the school has to put the children's welfare fucking first.
There you go. Shaun for president.
Here we go. Here we go. Make it
What's
that easy.
the second thing you had came in here, and it's kind of funny because this when we first did our podcast, I think this was like one of our second or third videos you ever made. But you
Yes,
said
that's
that
the.
the cherry tomato or tomato bridge, say whatever way you want to phrase it, is back again. I'd like Sean to bring this in because I didn't even know about this the
Yeah,
first time. So
I was kind of thinking this when I was thinking of current affairs for this week. What's been going
yeah,
on over here? And what's funny was last week for work, I was driving over near. I drove basically across the bridge in Drumcondra, and it's really funny. I was driving, and I was like stopped at a light on Drumcondra Bridge, right where this was, and I was like, I had my air code put into my Google Maps, right, so it was bringing me here. So I had just like stopped at a red light, and I was just looking at my maps because I didn't really know where I was going after this point. But when I looked at my maps on Google Maps, the name of that bridge is Cherry Tomato Bridge, Dublin.
yeah,
Somebody has
that's
obviously
class.
renamed it on Google and nobody's fixed it, which I think is funny as fuck. Like, so this was last Tuesday, so nothing had come up about this. But since then, it's been a year since that happened. Quick recap for anybody that doesn't know what we're talking about. Last year, there was a random bridge in Drumcondra, and there was a handful of cherry tomatoes that were just found there. This like could have been some. I don't know how this originated, but basically there was just some cherry tomatoes on this bridge in Drumcondra, and for some reason they just went stupidly viral for no reason, and then it became a thing where people just kept adding different types of tomato products to the bridge, and in the space of about 2 weeks, it went from like a small bouquet of cherry tomatoes to like the whole bridge was full of tomatoes, ketchup, relish, like tomato themed things, like toys and stuff, and it just became the tomato bridge, you know. This is the most like it sounds like a Father Ted skit. I think I said that
Yeah, yeah,
when we first talked about this. Like it sounds like a Father. It is there, and like if you're like, oh, am I missing the joke? No, you're not. Like that is the joke. It's the nothingness it's like the whole 6-7 thing.
yeah.
There is no joke. Like it's just stupidity for the sake of stupidity. But
I
for the
think
one
it's.
year
I don't know. I
anniversary,
think it's kill. I think it's
I think it's
kill. I
funny
don't
as
know.
fuck. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
think it's peak Ireland, like of like
yeah.
no, it's like big. What's the phrase?
Satirical wit. That's what I would say.
Yeah, it's that Big Trouble in Little China or something like that. I think is the
Yeah,
thing of
yeah, yeah.
like there's nothing happening, so people just like make news, you know.
You,
But
you,
yeah,
you know why people
people.
always try to find a bigger meaning for it as well? Like, I actually hope it doesn't ever become like a significant reason. Like, I hope it just stays as like it's just because humans are bored and they thought it'd be funny to put tomatoes on a bridge.
Yeah, and like there was somebody there in like a tomato costume during the week. I saw a video of like somebody like full size tomato costume just sitting on the bridge
Just
by themselves. Like,
legend,
I think there was two other people with them, and
legend.
like people have started to fill the bridge with tomatoes again. This went on last year for like 2 weeks, and I think then like the local council had to be like, these are going to start going moldy and stuff. But it was like a proper tourist attraction. Like people, like there was hundreds of people turning up to this bridge in Drumcondra. I think this is it's bad. Like I'm repeating the same plot beats from the last time we talked about this. Like but like there was literally, like I said, hundreds of people turning up to this bridge just to look at them, and like people. It was like almost like a pilgrimage of some sorts. Like for the last, and like people were turning up to this bridge and cry and just like started bawling, crying, just be like, oh my god, this means so much to me. Like like a pilgrimage, like yeah, it's just funny as fuck.
This would be a great. This would be a great clip for the TikTok. Yeah,
If we
I'm not.
hadn't already made one.
Yeah, well, maybe a second one might be coming next week, folks. Yeah, I've actually, I've no notes, no notes. I respect it. I respect it.
Yeah.
So, so yeah, we'll move on to our final section of the podcast, which is your lovely, our listeners' distance dilemmas. And this is the part of the show where I receive a lot of your dilemmas. I jumble them up. I don't know who they're from. And a lot of the time they're from situations that maybe you've been dealing with in your personal life, and we and Sean, or sorry, myself and Sean, we dissect and speak about it and give our opinion on how we can help benefit the issue. Also, we have set up a new link in the bio of our Instagram page. So if you would like to put in a dilemma, it'd be a lot easier for us to dissect it, as I said before. You can reach it on the bio of our Instagram page, or if you don't feel comfortable doing that, you can also reach us at our Gmail account, which is the distance dilemma pod@gmail.com. So I'll go and read the first one out now first. Recently, I've been struggling with a lot of self-confidence slash belief. I feel like social media gives you too much information that I get so confused on which is beneficial and which is nonsense. Do you guys have any tips, and do you experience this problem too? Would you like me to go first? You want to go first?
I'm easy. Do you have any strong
I,
feelings you'd like to
I,
start off with, or?
I'll go first. One thing I would say is a lot of I've been seeing on like my For You page on Instagram over the past, I'd say 2 weeks, is a lot of people when they come into the new year, and we kind of talked about this last year about like January is like the time of expectations and your goal settings for the year. A lot of the time people are trying to like match other people slash influencers goals, and I feel like if you're doing that and you're comparing yourself to people that maybe have a larger scale of viewership or a larger scale of income to yourself, the accessibility for you to reach them expectations and goals are a lot different to what you have in your own life. So you got to be aware of like what goals and settings you can make early into your life. And I feel like if you keep comparing, you can put yourself down a lot. And like a lot of I know a lot of people in my personal life and like outside of that as well that have focused very much on like what they're seeing on social media. And a lot of people struggle with this, and I need to be careful when I say this, but a lot of people struggle with kind of body image with like the female premises, like a lot of, and me and Nicola have kind of spoken about this before, is about, you see women that maybe have dealing with, issues of weight loss and food dietary plans, and you see, they're in the best shape of their life, but they don't talk about the days that they're struggling with their self-confidence and self-belief. And like, I'm sure Shaun can say it as well, like, because he's obviously trying to lose weight as well in the premise of as well. Like, there's situations where times where the gym is going great, and I've experienced as well. Like, there's times when you're in the gym, everything's great, your workouts are class, and then a week later, you could go to the gym and you don't want to be there at all. Your diet is messed up because you went out to a gig and you had a burger, or you went out and yeah, maybe your mates were over for the weekend, you had a few drinks, and like that confidence that can even deflate to your main goal can be like a major effect. So the one thing I would say from just reading this, I would say with social media, just be careful about where you're getting your information from. And don't always try to judge and compare yourself to everything you've seen. And like there is times, like there is some good videos there and helpful people. It's just finding like what's the best for you. I wouldn't also just go with what's the first video you find. Me and Shaun kind of talked about this before about having a purpose when you use social media to look for something. And it's really good if you're using it in terms of like, we talked about this before about like in terms of content. There's many people out there that are trying to do the same thing as you, but they'll give you tips along the way to help you benefit in that sense. So I think, first of all, my first advice was don't try to compare. Second of all, there is content out there that could help you. And then the third thing I would say is find like tips that work for you, and don't try to push them onto anyone else and stuff like that. So that's my advice with what kind of read. I don't know what you want to talk about.
Yeah, I think you'd mentioned there about like not comparing. I think that's really hard to do. I think that's like maybe a slight oversimplification of it. Like I had talked about social media a few weeks ago, and one of the things I really recommend doing is like don't follow people who aren't actively bringing like a good space into your life. Look, at the end of the day, social media isn't real, lads. It's not. It's not. Social media isn't real. It's a digital fucking thing. Like like what happens on social media, it doesn't really fucking matter. I mean this in the context of like people posting up photos of them, in their bikinis, or like on their journeys or whatever. Like it means a lot to them, but it does not mean anything in the wider, like the wider world. Like what I'm, yeah, it's, and like you said, like you have to be kind of careful with how you phrase these things. But like, if you like, you said you feel like social media, there's too much information out there and it can be confusing. I would suggest, like with like most research that you see out there, don't just take the first thing that's said to you. Like if I get so many TikToks at the moment about weight loss. I would easily, I'd say anytime I go on my phone, I'm going to get at least 10 in any kind of sitting that I do. And some of them are great, and some of them are super helpful, and some of them are total bullshit. And depending on what order I get those in, can massively impact the information. I'd say just take everything with a pinch of salt. If social media is making you feel this way, I would really suggest, and I mentioned this before, about unfollowing accounts that you don't need to be following. Like if you're following Kim Kardashian, why do you follow Kim Kardashian? Like sit and think to yourself, like, what does Kim Kardashian being on my feed bring to my life? Maybe you're a huge fan of the Kardashians, and you really like her. I know it's reality TV, but you like her character. You like how she presents herself. You like how she presents herself as an entrepreneur and all that sort of stuff. If that's the case, great. Keep her on your feed. You might find her inspiration. If you're just following her because it's Kim Kardashian, why would you not follow her? She's got like 100 million followers or whatever like that. If she's not bringing any active goodness to your feed, don't follow her. And like that doesn't have to apply to just influencers. That can apply to like acquaintances, people that you met 10 years ago that you just still follow, and they may not like be trying to post content that upsets you. It could, like, let's say, you follow, this could be me. I'm going to use myself as an example here. Let's say that, you're listening to this podcast, you met me 10 years ago and you still follow me on Instagram, and I post something about my music and you go, Jesus, Sean's doing that, and I don't really find Sean's content good or inspiring. It just kind of filler in the wider scheme of things. Unfollow me then. If I'm like not benefiting, if I'm not entertaining, if I'm not providing some sort of source of enjoyment, entertainment, or information that is going to benefit you, unfollow me. And like I wouldn't take that personally as well. So yeah. To kind of wrap up what I'm saying, struggling with your confidence and stuff, everyone has it, and like Imran says, everyone has good days, everyone has bad days, where that's when it comes to diet, when it comes to gym, when it comes to your mental health or whatever like that. Everyone has good or bad days, and on social media, everyone is like presenting themselves on their 12 out of 10 days. Everyone's having the best day of their life on social media, so take everything with a pinch of salt on social media, really. The good and the bad, and if you're trying to use social media as a source of information to, again, I'm going to use diet and exercise and gym because that's how I've been using it. That's where I can kind of draw from the most context from my own personal experience. There's these guys who, when I'm looking up high protein, low calorie things, that'll, people will be like, oh, the carnivore diet, you need to do a carnivore diet, which is where you're eating loads of red meat, basically a hugely meat based diet. You're eating no carbs and no sugars and stuff. And you'll have some people be like, oh yeah, the carnivore diet's great for this, that, and the other. But like with everything in life, no one thing is perfect for you. There's good aspects to it and there's bad aspects to it. It's about finding the balance for you. So to wrap up what I'm saying, I've spewed on for a few minutes here. Test things out. If it feels good to you, it's like sex. If it feels good to you, it is good. There's no wrong answer. Just test things out. Try shit out. Don't be afraid. The worst thing you can do is not try. That's not when it comes to sex.
So yeah. that's what I was. No notes. We'll move on. Yeah, I agree with a lot of what you're saying there, but we'll move on. The second one is I've spoken to my manager about a promotion after being 1.5 years in the company, and his answer was it would take at least 3 years and you're still too young, you need to grow. What do I do? Do you want to go first in this one?
I kind of spoke for a long time there. I reckon people
are sick
of listening to me talk.
Yeah,
so
okay.
I'm gonna let you take this one.
No worries. Yeah, look, I've kind of talked about this maybe about a week or two ago on the podcast about kind of knowing your self-worth in the job. If your manager is in this situation taking you for granted, for me, age in a workplace does not mean the biggest thing. You could be 18 years of age working your ass off for your position in your company, and there could be another person there who's worked 5 or 6 years but they're lazy. I don't believe that the person that there is longer it deserves the promotion more than you. For me, if I was the manager and I was working in the workplace, I would always take the person who was working for their role, trying to benefit themselves in the position more than the person who's just because they work there longer means that they get a foot over you. Now, it's different if that person is also working their way up. That's different. I don't understand that in that situation. But in this situation, if that was me working in that kind of company and I was listening to my manager taking that, I would really be taken back by the situation. So One of my advice would be first, I would say maybe think about having another conversation with your manager or someone else involved in the company and saying, look, I would like to work my way up. This is my plan. I plan to be here for the next 2 to 3 years. I'm just presuming that this person wants to be here, considering they've already been there a year and a half. They maybe want to stay there longer if they're looking for a promotion. I would initially go down that route. Secondly, I would also look at different avenues. If you're not being appreciated in your workspace, do look for another job because there's many other companies, and maybe this I don't know. I don't have enough information about how successful this company is, how big this company is, but don't ever think that your job position is all you're accompanied for. I always think you should try look for something better or try better yourself in some better way. And they always talk about that thing like 1% better every day. But I'm in the premise of a workplace. I'm thinking like you can always look for better areas where you're more appreciated. Because I've worked in so many jobs where like I felt like I was super underappreciated, and only now I'm kind of like getting to an age where I'm a bit like, you know what, I understand my role in a workplace, and I understand how important I deserve something. And I try to speak up a little bit more, but I think that does come with age and confidence. So yeah, one thing I would say is definitely take my first bit of advice on. Just try speak to him again first initially, and if you don't see any like push or leeway, I think definitely would look for a better area, maybe more where you could be appreciated.
Yeah. Um, I think like the industry and the size of the company, this plays like a massive part in this.
Yeah,
Like again, we don't know who sent this in. We don't know the context of like, if they're a friend of ours, what their job is or whatever like that. So we've no idea. I'm kind of inclined the way this is worded and the way it's phrased to think that this is some sort of job in a customer service type of setting. Um, and the reason I say that is because they're saying after a year and a half, they're looking for a promotion. And I'm thinking of jobs that have like quite high turnovers of staff where promotions kind of become available like every kind of 9 months to a year, you know?
yeah,
But my first reaction when I read this was a year and a half really is not long of a time to be in a company and like seeking a promotion, and just because you've been with a company so long doesn't mean that there is a promotion there for you. Like, at the end of the day, the company has to look after itself long term, so they can't just promote people just because they're good workers. And I know that's kind of like shit to hear, but obviously with a promotion comes more responsibility, but also if you're getting promoted, you're going to get paid more because you're taking on more responsibilities. The business has to look after itself and say, right, okay, if we've got 5 staff at the level that this person's at, and we've got 2 managers, and this person here is looking to come up and be a manager as well. So let's say they go from a salary of, let's say, €30,000 a year up to €37,000 a year. The business has to be able to make sure that it can sustain that, and that's not always a guarantee. So it may be a case of like there just needs to be an opening, and yeah, like a year and a half in a company. I know, like when you're younger, like, and I really felt this myself. This is kind of something that's come with age for me. But like when I was in, you know, customer service jobs when I was, in college and in school and stuff, I thought a year and a half was so long. But like when you're in the actual working world, when you're in the corporate world, when you're kind of like out of college working, like a year and a half really is not that long of a time. Like I worked in a job for 4 years before, and I didn't get promoted, and I went up for 1 or 2, and they didn't promote me. And while I was definitely disappointed, I now look back and I understand totally why I didn't get those promotions, and it wasn't particularly to do with my age. It was more got to do with what the needs of the business were at that time. So like Imran said, like, I don't think it's a bad idea to have another conversation, and I think it's good that you're showing the initiative, and it shows that you obviously want to grow within that company. So I don't think it's a bad thing that you're having that conversation with your manager, and I don't think it's a bad thing to go again. However, I also, just to be like on like devil's advocate a little bit, like, the business is always going to put itself first, and it was like he's saying. I think he's very out of line to say you're too young, you need to grow. Because I totally agree with Imran's point of it doesn't matter how old you are. It doesn't matter if you're 19, you've been in the job for 3 years, or if you're 26 and you've been in the job for 3 years. You're doing the same job, you're doing the same skill set. One can work harder than the other. Totally agree with what Imran said on that. But just I don't think a year and a half is as long as they're making it out to be. Like, I don't think they're totally wrong for not giving you that promotion, but I think it's good that you're showing the initiative, and I think you should go back and talk to them again. But like, talk about, like, how can, when a position becomes available, how can I give myself the best possible opportunity to get that position?
Yeah, yeah, I agree with a lot with what you're saying there.
So yeah,
Yeah.
guys, if you do want to submit an anonymous dilemma, we've got a link in our Instagram bio, as Imran said there. Just want to stress the fact that they're totally anonymous. There's no like contact information that's entered. You literally click the link, you enter your dilemma, and then you send it off. We don't ask you for names, emails, anything like that. So if you want to submit anything anonymously, you can find the link in our bio. We'll be posting on our stories as well throughout the next couple of weeks as well. But if you would like us to talk about something, please find the link in our Instagram bio on Instagram. I totally fucked up the ending of that. Anyway, but yeah, guys, it's probably the best time to wrap it up. This has been quite a long episode. So, guys, thank you very much for tuning into episode 49 of The Distance Dilemma. My name is Shaun, and I'm in Dublin, Ireland. This has been Imran. He is in Thun, Switzerland. And this is our long distance friendship podcast. We'll be back next week at 6 a.m. Irish time, 7 a.m. Central European time. Until then, thank you very much, and we'll chat to you again next week.